A very good morning to you. It is 7 minutes downside, 7 o'clock. It is Citizen FM 93.7. This is the Super Citizen at Sunrise headlines. My name is KEMI ASEKUN. My loved ones call me Kem. I like it that way. And you know, this is where we get to take a look at the front pages, okay, as it is this morning. Now, today is the 18th day in the month of October. The year is 2022. It's a Tuesday, not a rainy Tuesday. It doesn't look sunny yet. It looks a bit cloudy, just to let you know. But if you're leaving the house, the way the rain falls in Abuja, you might probably want to get an umbrella. But that said, the Super Citizen at Sunrise headlines today will be featuring a multimedia journalist, producer per excellence. As a matter of fact, a seasoned international journalist whose media experience cuts across reporting, researching, production. He's also a public affairs analyst. He has covered different African countries. He's also covered some countries in the European Union. Okay, he is a doctorate degree holder, and he has 2 masters, one in online journalism and the other in mass communication. However, his PhD is in mass communications. This morning, I have the pleasure to introduce to you a journalist per excellence in the person of Dr. QASIM AKINRETI. A very good morning. And also a former NUJ chairman in Lagos. A very good morning to you, Dr. AKINRETI.
Good morning.
And good to have you in our studios this morning to review the papers together.
Thank you.
All right. So we kick off with PremiumTimesNG.com, who are our media partners. If you do go to their site, you'll see a link to listen live to the Citizen FM programming, okay, on PremiumTimesNG.com. Okay, and we kick off this morning with their major story here, and it says 2023. Real reason Zamfara governor shut down TV radio stations. We'll just quickly take a look at that story in depth so that we can have an analyst, Dr. QASIM AKINRETI, take it, in all context without necessarily, getting the full picture of what we are talking about. You're still listening to the Super Citizen at Sunrise, and this is, a rebranding of our program. And here it is. The story says on Saturday night, the government of Zamfara State announced the shutdown of some broadcast stations. 2 of the affected stations are owned by the federal government, while the other 3 are privately owned. In an announcement made on Zamfara Radio by the Information Commissioner in the state, Ibrahim Dosara, Governor Matawale ordered the immediate shutdown of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Gusau, Federal Radio Corporation, Pride FM, Gusau, Alumna TV, Gamji TV, and Gamji FM. In the announcement, it was repeated several times in the Hausa language. Mr. Matawale also asked the State Police Commissioner, Kolo Yusuf, to ensure full compliance with the order. Now, there is no indication that the Zamfara State government got permission from Nigeria's broadcast regulator, NBC, to sanction the media houses. Both the Information Commissioner, Mr. Dosara, and the governor's spokesperson, Zailani Bapa, did not respond to calls and SMS sent to them for further comment about the other. Now, the state government gave no reason for its action beyond saying the stations violated government order and journalism practice. Premium Times has now learned from sources in the state that the affected media organizations were shut down because the governor of the state, Governor Bello Matawale, was irked that the stations broadcast the campaign event of the governorship candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, Dauda Dare, on Friday. Now, it says before the order banning the broadcast stations, the government, through Mr. Dosara, on Friday issued a statement banning, amongst other things, all political gatherings in the state till further notice. Mr. Dosara said the decision was due to the resurgence of the activities of the terrorists in the state, and said the governor ordered the immediate suspension of all APC meetings and activities as part of the government's concern and sympathy with the people and communities attacked by the bandits. Over to you, Dr. AKINRETI.
First of all, we must be able to put issues in perspective with regards to the powers of the governors and then the powers of the NBC. The closure, obviously, is an act of arbitrariness, in misuse of state power to actually clamp down on media organization. It's not within the purview of the state's henchmen to, shut any media organization. That is the peculiar right of the National Broadcasting Commission. If anything, if there's any infraction in terms of broadcast code, the first port of call should have been the NBC, National Broadcasting Commission. What the government needs to do, because obviously the government is hiding on the backdrop of public interests, and because anything that has to do with public interest, it has to do with the security of the state. It falls within the purview of public interest. So if that should be the case, what the governor should have done is to write a letter to the National Broadcasting Commission, stating all these infractions by these media organizations. Thereafter, the media organization can then, have a right of reply. And again, things must have happened in quick succession in the state, obviously, because we all know the security situation in that state anyway. So it also brings to the fore the role of the media. Also trying to understand, the polity and obviously the environment in which they operate. Yes, it is the right of the government to say, yes, I want to protect my people in public interest. It's also the right of the media to also, the right to know, to give the people the opportunity to know what is going on around there. So that is why I think, the government should have handled it with more care. And I was extremely, a little bit disappointed, but the fact that we could have some seasoned journalists within the ESCO that could have been able to advise the governor on the path, of saying, no. What is important about this is for us, Your Excellency, could we write this fellow? Could we write the appropriate, organ? And perhaps that the NBC a couple of months ago sanctioned some media organizations. So it should have occurred to them that this is not our domain. It is the domain of the National Broadcasting Commission. So if they have done that, it could have been much more appropriate. And the next step is under the rule of law. It's better to also go to court. So those are the opportunities open to them. In a democracy, you must understand that media has rights. Media is one of the pillars of sustainable democracy in any clime. So there's no way you can shut the media out. Even if you have to do that, what happens to the social media? You can't shut them out. That is it.
Okay, but now, would we say that the Zamfara state, from what you have said, it appears that the Zamfara state government has overshot its boundaries? Is that?
No, absolutely. It is not within their purview to shut down a media organization.
Okay.
But for whatever reasons, what they will have done is to invite the media organization, writes to NBC, stating all the infractions. And the next thing is to also go to court.
But considering the fact that the stations are domiciled in their states, and in the fact that the stations are domiciled in their state, right? Before the NBC gets to hear some of the challenges that they're facing, I'm just saying, will there have been more damages that could have been done before they say, okay, do that shutdown? That's all I'm asking now.
The NBC must have a zonal office within that area. Perhaps they also have a state office. I know. That's what I'm telling you. That things must have happened in quick succession. But the appropriate, steps to have to take.
And we don't want a state of anarchy.
And anarchy is this. But that's why I told you that what government might have asked in public interest, which is quite appropriate. The media could also say, yes, we also act in the public interest.
True
because there's a right to know. And so we have to weigh it. And that is why the media should understand their own terrain. I've tried to put it in context.
Yes.
That, look, you must have a society you must have a state before you can also exercise your right to give the right to know.
Absolutely.
It's very important that we must understand some of these dynamics. Our role is extremely is flexible.
True that.
We must understand that. And once is flexible, is constant at the same time. It must be done within the confines of the law.
Okay, let's go to other stories now. This one here on premiumtimesnj.com says 6 dead, 5 missing in Niger boat accident. The official said a total of 49 passengers were in the boat. When the accident happened, no fewer than 6 persons have lost their lives after the boat capsized on the Kaduna River at Gbara in Mokwa local government area of Niger State. The boat accident occurred on Friday at about 6:30 p.m. The Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency in SEMA, Ahmed Inga, confirmed the incident in a statement in Mina on Saturday. This brings us to the issue of safety on our waterways and government regulation of movement on the waterways. I don't know.
Yes, it also, presupposes that we still have a challenge with water transportation, obviously across the country.
True.
There are safety rules that you need to adhere to if you are going to operate, within this climate. So anyone that is going into water transportation business should understand that these are the rules. You must have a life jacket that you need to give to everyone, and you also need to understand what the tidal situation in terms of. Okay.
Are the tides high?
If the water level is extremely high, it's not. You don't have to
travel.
So you must understand that.
But
very, very.
But that brings us to regulation, government regulation of movement on the waters.
I agree with you.
That can be a challenge because, as a matter of fact, you know that people have to move. And sometimes these places are not easily accessible.
Yes.
But then that regulation is what will protect the average Nigerian from getting into those accidents, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. It's also so that it shows that there is a lack of there is what you could call irresponsibility on the parts of regulatory authorities, maybe in the water transport sector.
But water transportation is not something that we have paid enough attention to here in Nigeria.
Because we